الله أكبر الله أكبر
الله أكبر
لا إله إلا الله
حق لا إله إلا الله محمد عبده ورسوله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستغفره ونستعينه ونستهديه ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي المقصرة أولا بتقوى الله فاتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون ثم أما بعد. All praise are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most gracious and the most merciful. The best of His peace and blessings shall be bestowed upon His beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and upon those that follow his footsteps. يقول ربنا عز وجل في كتابه الحكيم وإذا حكمتم بين الناس أن تحكموا بالعدل. If you were in a position of judgment to judge amongst people, whether you're asked to be a judge between two parties or two people, or whether you're asked for an opinion that will contribute to the preservation or the loss of people's rights, that's a hukum. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, if you're in a position of judgment, أن تحكموا بالعدل. You need to observe justice. What is justice? Because as we go through the ayat and the ahadith, we will realize how critical this concept is and how the effect of the lack of justice does not only touch you as an individual, it goes through to the entire community. And one more time I repeat, even if you're asked for an opinion as a witness on somebody or an issue, that is judgment that you're making. And you're asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to observe justice at its absolute form. What does that mean? First of all, we need to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُ بِالْعَدْلِ وَالْإِحْسَانِ وَإِيتَاءِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى وَيَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ وَالْبَغْيِ يَعِظُكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَذَكَّرُونَ. In this ayah, there are a lot of stories about it at the time of da'wah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Every time he would recite this ayah, al-Arab, al-Mushrikun, they would be very fascinated by this ayah. Because it clearly said that Islam, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is enforcing makarim al-akhlaq, the best of manners, and is asking them to leave behind the worst of manners. And Al-Arab were known for their attachment to the akhlaq. So this ayah was enough for great leaders in Arabia to accept Islam. However, today in our khutbah, which I named Disconnect Your Feelings from Justice, and from the title, it tells us that a lot of time our feelings interfere with our justice, or interfere with justice, because it interferes with our opinions and judgment. In the ayah that we just read, you would realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inna Allah ya'murukum, Allah orders you, straight, direct order, bil-adli wal-ihsan. It is very interesting to see al-adl, justice, يقدم على الإحسان. ما هو العدل وما هو الإحسان؟ Justice first, then إحسان. العدل كما وصف علي بن أبي طالب رضي الله عنه وأرضاه, he said, العدل هو الإنصاف. العدل is to be just, to draw a clear line between at least what you see as right and wrong. Don't go in between. Don't try to make it sound better. Forget about political correctness. When you ask for adl, it's adl. Don't be in a gray area. That's adl. أما الإحسان, he said رضي الله عنه وأرضاه, فهو التفضل. التفضل. الفضل. We also have another term which is al-adlu wal-fadl. إذن al-ihsan al-fadl. And the word ihsan, ahsana li fulan, implies that you're benefiting others. So your work in the under the umbrella of ihsan means you're doing things for the sake of benefiting others. So your intentions, your attempt is to clearly benefit someone other than yourself. That's ihsan. However, al-adl, as described by al-ulama, أن يأخذ كل ذي حق حقه. Al-adl is you have a right, I have a right, each one of us will take their right. Preservation of rights. This is adl. Clear cut. There's no such a thing as, how about I give you 2% more? That's not adl. الفضل أن يتنازل كل ذي حق عن حقه. Al-fadl is, I want to give you more. However, it's my choice. It's out of feelings. Because I love you, I want to give you more. Or, I want to give it up for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm interested in the ajr. Take it. That's fadl. Most of the problems that we have in our community is we put fadl before adl. When I deal with people with absolute fadl, and then you end up being wronged or abused or hurt by the person that you exercised fadl with, you will regret doing fadl. Which means you might even lose the hasanat because you regretted it. I shouldn't have been good to him. I shouldn't have done that. You know why? Because you skipped the foundational step of any relationship, which is establishing al-adl first. When the community, when our community members, when our family members know that al-adl is the principle. When you exercise fadl, they appreciate it. But when they're used to fadl all the time, you're spoiling them. They would want more, they would abuse you. Back to the title of the khutbah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قدم العدل على الفضل أو العدل على الإحسان. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, al-adl comes first, al-ihsan, which is directly related to your feelings, it comes after. Which means in al-adl, put your feelings aside. Put your kindness aside. Really? Kindness? How can I put my kindness aside? Let's listen to the following ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين لله شهداء بالقسط ولا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم ألا تعدلوا اعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى. In this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about negative feelings. If you're dealing with people and you're in a position to make a judgment that will affect their lives, and you don't like them, لا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم means I don't like this person for any reason. Even if you don't like this person, you're not allowed to allow this dislike or ill feeling or negative feeling. You don't allow it to influence your judgment. Very clear. Allah is telling us, put aside your negative feelings if you're making a judgment. That might be easy, or I should say, might be understandable. Understandable. Be fair. Even if you don't like the person, be fair and judge properly or give the proper judgment. But what if I like the person? And what if this person was bad, was very close to me? In the first scenario, if you're asked about a person, what do you think about Fulan? And I already don't like him. I might kind of twist things to make him look worse. Be careful. That's easier to fall for. In the second ayah, Surah An-Nisa, the first one was Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 8. Surah An-Nisa, verse 135. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين بالقسط. The first one, قوامين بالقسط. قوامين means what? Al-Qawwam is the person that's continuously ready. يقوم على الأمر. You stand up. There's a difference between a man that's standing up and a man that's sitting down. A man that's continuously on guard, standing up, ready to tackle any problem, that's qawwam. Ready to move fast, ready to react, ready to do. So be qawwam when it comes to qist. In the issue of justice, you need to be qawwam, ready. Whether you're defending your personal right, your community's rights, your ummah's rights, you need to be on guard all the time. There's no room for us to sit down and relax and say, inshallah, we'll deal with it later. In the following ayah, we said in Surah An-Nisa, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُونُوا قَوَّامِينَ بِالْقِسْطِ. Same thing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the same condition. Readiness, energy, zeal, ready. شُهَدَاءَ كُونُوا قَوَّامِينَ بِالْقِسْطِ شُهَدَاءَ لِلَّهِ. Ready to implement justice, ready to testify for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with justice. وَلَوْ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِكُمْ. Even if it's about you. So imagine you're going to a job interview and you're being asked, are you, about your skills? And you say, I'm a team player, but you're actually a lone wolf. You're so introvert, you don't like dealing with people. I'm a team player. You need to rethink that. Because a lot of people would tend to repeat terms just because this is the norm. You could find other strength in you that you need to show. So even if you're asked about your own self, you need to be just. Maybe the example of the interview wasn't the best one, but you got the message. وَلَوْ عَلَى أَنفُسِكُمْ أَوِ الْوَالِدَيْنِ. And listen to this. Now he's talking about your parents. Your parents. Even if it comes to your parents, and let's say one of your parents committed injustice. It happens, they're humans. They're not angels. Right? We are ordered to give them the most birr, but that doesn't make them angels. So it is possible that our parents could commit injustice. What do? Do I lie to protect my parents in the situation of injustice? Well, the ayah clearly states no. Even if it's your parents, أو الأقربين, people that are close to you, إن يكن غنيا أو فقيرا, whether it's a wealthy person or a poor person, فالله أولى بهما. Their weakness is taken care of by Allah. Do not think that by you twisting justice that you're going to protect anybody or make him look good. فَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا الْهَوَى. Do not follow your hawa, your desires, your whims, your feelings to influence justice. Be very careful. أن تعدلوا وإن تلووا أو تعرضوا فإن الله بما تعملون خبير. In تلووا, if you twist reality or stay away from it, you know what, I'm not going to talk about this part because it might hurt my best friend. No. If you're in a position of judgment, especially you're talking about the interests of the community, you don't twist things around. You need to be clear. Listen to what Abdullah ibn Abbas said, radiyallahu anhu wa arda. When asked about this ayah, he said, وَلَا يَرْحَمُ مِسْكِينًا لِمَسْكَنَتِهِ. You're not even allowed to exercise mercy when it comes to justice. This is Abdullah ibn Abbas, radiyallahu anhu wa arda. Some people would think, Wallahi, I'm in a position of judgment between two people, and one of them is miskin. Haram. Well, let me just lean towards him. I'm doing it out of mercy. You're not allowed. Haram. So if your heart is convincing you that out of mercy, out of kindness, بالرحمة واللين ألوي العدل, فقد عصيت أمر الله. Even if for the sake of mercy and kindness, you're not allowed to twist justice, even if it's your parents. Abdullah ibn Abbas also commented on تلو وتعرض. He said, هما الرجلان يجلسان بين يدي القاضي فيكون لي القاضي وإعراضه لأحدهما على الآخر. The one that's in a position of judgment, whether it's a judge or a friend judging between two friends, any setting of judgment, be careful. Don't twist reality or stay away from facts thinking that this is mercy. Why? Why is it that critical? Let me give you a story. At the time of Muhammad ﷺ, when he took over Khaybar, the famous city in the northern of Arabia that was inhabited by a Jewish tribe back then. So when Muhammad ﷺ took over that city, they had a lot of dates, date trees and around the city. That was their main trade, it's dates. So they had an agreement that the annual production will be split between al-Muslimin وقبيلة اليهود. There was an agreement between both parties. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he sends Abdullah ibn Rawaha, the famous Sahaba radiallahu anhu wa arda, to appraise the production of that year. So he went to Khaybar, he saw the dates, and he appraised it. And the story goes that they wanted to bribe him, so they will take more. And then he said, رضي الله عنه وارضاه, ثم قال يا معشر يهود. He said, "Oh you people, I hate you." Straightforward. إنكم أبغض الناس إلي. I'm being a judge. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent me as a judge. Judge in what? To appraise the amount of dates, to split it into two halves. They tried to bribe him. He said, "Listen people, I hate you." Straightforward. I'm not hiding my feelings. And I love Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam more than anybody else. So he disclosed his bias, if you will, in legal terms. But however, he said, وَلَيْسَ يَحْمِلُنِي بُغْضِي إِيَّاكُمْ أَنْ أَحِيفَ عَلَيْكُمْ. However, my feelings towards you will not cause me to do you injustice. Allahu Akbar. They're not just people that he hated, they were enemies back then. But he said, I will still not cause you or do you injustice. He said, I've estimated the dates at this amount. You have two choices. You either take it and give us the half of my estimate, or I take it and give you the half of my estimate. Their answer was, قالوا بهذا قامت السماوات والأرض. قالوا, indeed, this is the justice of Allah. They realized, despite of his feelings, strong feelings, he told them, I hate you, but I will not do you injustice. So this is the justice of Allah, and he took the dates. And remember that also in another hadith, Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu said, it's a long hadith, he said, ثلاث منجيات كما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Three things that will save you, and one of them, فالعدل في الغضب والرضا. Absolute justice, even if you're angry or satisfied or pleased. Put your feelings aside. This is the message. And we end with قول ينسب لابن تيمية رضي الله عنه رحمه الله تعالى, where he said العدل نظام كل شيء فإذا أقيم أمر الدنيا بالعدل قامت. العدل, justice, is the basis of development in everything. No justice, you need to know, you will collapse as an individual and as a community. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه فيا فوز المستغفرين. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. We end with another statement for Ibn Taymiyyah, Shaykh al-Islam rahmatullah alayh, where he said, إن العدل واجب لكل أحد على كل أحد في كل حال والظلم محرم ولا يباح بحال. Al-Adl, justice, is a must for everybody, irrespective of your religion, irrespective of your race, irrespective of your color. It's a must for everybody, upon everybody, in every condition. It's an absolute value for you, ya Muslim, to know. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us focus on this great value of justice. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show us the right path and help us follow it. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fill our hearts and our mind with justice and help us exercise it wherever we are. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us and protect our children, to shower us with His mercy. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم عافنا في ديننا، اللهم عافنا في دنيانا، اللهم استر عوراتنا وآمن روعاتنا، واحفظنا من بين يدينا ومن خلفنا وعن يميننا وعن شمائلنا ومن فوقنا، ونعوذ بعظمتك أن نغتال من تحتنا، إنك على كل شيء قدير. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروا الله يذكركم واستغفروه يغفر لكم، ولذكر الله أكبر، والله يعلم ما تصنعون. وأنت يا أخي أقم الصلاة.